So all the financial gurus out there tell you, you gotta make a budget. Well, they fail to remember exactly the problem with budgeting in the first place. Let me explain. So over the last 4 years, I've really come a long way financially. Started woefully in debt and not much of a plan in sight. I had a family that was, needing a strong financial foundation, and I wasn't providing that. And I made a decision 4 years ago to really clean up my act, and it all kind of transpired. Fortunately, I was able to work with my wife, and we actually came to about the same conclusion at the same time. So we made a lot of changes in our life, and one of them was agreeing on a budget. And that budget is a good thing. It should be part of everyone's financial plan, but everyone forgets the big problem with budgeting, and that is our perception of the budget. You see, we live in a society where we often don't have complete control of our lives, whether it be at work. Sometimes our family influences us in a way where we don't have complete control. Sometimes our bodies are breaking down, and that's kind of driving us in a lot of ways. And so the one problem with budgets is the feeling of control, and I'm here to help solve that problem for some of you, because everyone does need to sit down and itemize the income, the money that comes in every month, and the money that goes out every month. If you have irregular incomes, you might do it every couple of months or whatever it might be, but come up with a baseline budget that's going to work for every 30 days for you. On that point, I agree. But then after doing all the logistics and the physically writing everything down and looking at it, you really have to not think of it as another form of control. You can't think of it as something else that's stopping you from doing what you want to do or hindering your independence in any way. And in fact, it's the opposite. It's really you signing a contract with yourself, or yourself and your spouse, or whomever that you might be with, that you're budgeting with. It's a contract. And if you think about it that way, it's a promise to yourself that you're going to live up to this plan that you're making. And I think that's the most important part. And I think that's the problem that people run into with budgets. It's really easy often to look at what goes out every month, what comes in every month. Let's get the difference, and that's what's left over. For some of us, that was not very much for the longest time. For others, maybe you have a lot of extra because you do control your spending. But putting it in a budget really shows you your behavior. It's sort of giving you that financial look in the mirror that tells you who you are and what you're doing with the money that you earn doing whatever work it is that you do. And I think it's important that we look at it like that. You're making a promise to yourself that all the work that you put in to earn this money has to be worth it. It can't just be like anything, like the money just blows in the wind and you're not gonna get out of that money what you really could. You work really hard for that money. You deserve to have a budget, a contract with yourself on how that money is gonna be used and spent in order to be happy with it, in order to secure your financial future. Maybe you wanna give to charities or things like that, help other folks out. And you can do all that if you set a budget, you stick to it, you honor the promise that you've made to yourself. And I think that's the thing that people get wrong. That's the problem with budgeting. It's really not the budget itself, it's our perception of it. And so there you have it. If you haven't made a budget recently, think about doing it. There's plenty of tools online to do a budget, and when you do it, don't look at it as something that's stopping you. Look at it as something that is enabling you to take advantage of all the money that you earn. If you like the content I've been putting out recently, feel free to subscribe down below. I will be putting out things on mental health, technology use, and writing occasionally. I know this one is sort of a deviation from that, talking about budgeting, but I think it's also part of the mental health process of how we handle the money from the work we do day in and day out. I think there's a huge mental health aspect to finances that is not often talked about. So I wanted to make a quick video on that, and appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you next time.